share, that would be great. I'm not really, I don't do it. I know I should, because it does build up viewership, but I just, I know that you guys just want to get right to the coloring. Now, I don't do the very center of her face. I leave that so that I can do a highlight there. So I do that on purpose. And this is E11, which is Barley Beige. And I am going to go right here underneath her hat. And really, I guess I could move the Firefly image out. Scoot this one over just a little bit. There we go. So I'm doing under her hat, a little bit darker, because she's going to have more of a shadow from the hat, and kind of come around. When you do the face, it does look a little bit dark. Sorry, I thought my volume was totally down, but apparently not. Let me turn that to silent. So it's a little dark when you're doing around the face, but then when you pull out the color with your mid-tone and your highlight, it all evens out. And then when you get the hair done too. So here I'm going to do underneath her chin. So where is everybody watching from? I always wonder where is the furthest away somebody is at. Helen is probably at the moment one of our furthest away people, because I believe she's in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. Hi, Jackie. How are you? Hi, Sharon. I hope both Sharon and Jackie are feeling a bit better today. Now, I'm coming out just like this on her face. I know it looks a little harsh, but that's where her blush would be, because you want to build up some dimension in the face. So that is why I'm doing that. So I'm taking my E000, and I'm going to blend this out. Blend it out just a little bit, because I want to lighten up her face just a little bit. I want to pull it out just a little bit. Now you can pull, like push towards your shadow, or you can pull it out. When you are like doing jeans, you're wanting to push towards. There's times when you want to push towards and times you want to kind of pull out. So you have to think about what you're doing, is what I'm trying to say. Think about what you're doing. So just going around her face, here on her arms, and we'll even her out as we get her blush on and do her hair. And we get the other colors in. I'm using Sweet Sentiment paper, if anybody's wondering. I like using it because it has a nice creamy color to it, and it just takes the marker really well. I either use Copic Express paper or this Sweet Sentiment paper, and on occasion I have used Spectrum Noir paper too. It just depends on my project that I'm working on. Alright, so I'm just trying to go over this, but not get too much into the middle of her face. And my marker's a little bit dry. Check it. Nope, I had refilled it, but to me it seems darker than it's supposed to. I don't know. I don't think they've changed the ink blend, but maybe they have. So I'm just kind of working the color out. Just kind of working it out. Like so. And I'm going to apologize in advance. My husband is working on the baby's room. And so you might hear some drilling. He's putting in electrical outlets. For those of you who have been kind of following along with me, we adopted this week. So we, we were fostering. It was a kinship foster care situation. And we have adopted. So we have now 3 more children between us. So my husband and I are, it's a second marriage for both. So together now, he has 5 and I have 5. Because he had 2 children and I had 2 children. So our family has grown. So he is working on the baby's room. There we go. Thank you, Jackie. Her face looks a little heavy. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Cynthia. We were very happy. Very, very happy. You know, it's been a long journey. So we are very happy. Very, very happy. There we go. Now she's been out in the sun, so I want her to look a little tanned. And right in here, see, of course your face is not even. I think her blush looks a little bit too triangle-y, but we shall see as we carry on. I'm not gonna worry about it at the moment, because I'm gonna go back in and work on her skin a little bit more as we carry on with this image. I'm trying to be careful because I have not had the best luck with these washi tape. I don't really like using it. I usually use a little strip of paper. I don't know what's going on with my scan and cut. I was going to actually cut her out, and my scan and cut keeps saying it doesn't recognize my mat, and I have two different mats. One of them's brand new and it's not recognizing it either, so it can't be really a mat issue. So we're doing something else, and that's okay. Gonna do something slightly different. All right, so where did everybody say they were from? Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, everybody. Oh, Jackie says she's feeling well. Sharon's in Scotland. And trying to see where everybody's from. I know some people are from Maryland. So I'm going to do her hair, and I'm going to use E15, E13, and E23, which is hazelnut. So these are the three colors I'm going to use for her hair. And what I do is I start off with the lighter color. Some people start off with the darker, some people the lighter. It doesn't matter. You have to find out what works for you. And you just, you have to practice and just decide what works for you. Now she has curly hair, so I am doing a C shape, like the letter C. So that is what I'm doing. I'm just working down her hair, and I'm using the lighter color, and I'm just kind of doing a little C, and I'm actually putting on more than one coat as I do this. And so I'm just going where Christina, who is the artist for Paper Nest Dolls, she's already put where the curls are, where all the locks are. So that's what I'm following, if you're wondering what I'm doing. And hair takes the longest, so don't, you know, you don't want to rush through. I know on lives we kind of rush. It's not how you would typically color if you are sitting. You would probably take, maybe 3 times as long as we do on a live. But so a live isn't your typical coloring. Don't think, oh my gosh, I can't do it that quick. Your live is not your typical coloring. I'm trying to see where everybody's from. Oh, Fort Myers, Florida. Yes, that would be a wonderful place to be at the moment. I would love to be at Fort Myers. I know that. Oh, Kissimmee, Florida. Oh, that would be nice. You see a pattern here. I love the I love warm weather, and that's one. This card is definitely reminiscent of upcoming past springs and upcoming springs. So it's very happy, very spring-like and happy, very much into the summer. Somebody had posted a beautiful card on one site. I don't remember where it was at. And somebody made a comment. I didn't think it was spring for 3 more weeks. I thought, I think we always do our cards kind of in anticipation of the upcoming seasons, don't we? Like we start our fall cards end of August, September, you know, because we always seem to be in a hurry for the next season to come. So I just thought that was kind of funny. So I responded that spring was in the air. There we go. So that's the E15. And so that was my E13 and my E15. And now I'm going with my darker color, my E23. Actually, Dawn's on vacation, so I'm kind of surprised you joining us today. I've loved the pictures of the museums. So nice. I am going on vacation. I think it's next week. I am going to go to Savannah, go to Tybee actually. I'm going to go to Tybee. And I'm not going for all of my spring break, but part of it. I'm going to take a couple of days to work around the house and then start my spring break. So it'll be fun. The kids and I are going to, we rented a, like a condo, and I'm taking my mother, who's 87, I think. And we're going to go to Bonaventure Cemetery. That's where my dad is at. And visit. So it'll be very, very nice. And I'm thinking about taking the tour of the cemetery. Lots of famous people are buried there. It's very beautiful. Let's see. I'm just checking the checking messages, or not messages, but comments. There we go. So I'm doing the lighter color. So I waited to do the lighter color last because you kind of you want to have a bit more of a highlight, a sheen. Now with curly hair, just like in real life, you know, curly hair, you don't really get as much of a shine. So you still want to have some shading and some highlighting, but it doesn't quite have the same effect as straight hair. So then what I do is I go back in with my medium, which is my E15, and I just kind of pick a few places to emphasize a little bit more. See, and that's how you're getting your highlight and your shading going. I love curly hair the best. I'm drawn to the images that have curly hair. They're my absolute favorite. But I try to do both because you want to practice all the time. You want to try to stay in practice with what you're coloring. It's kind of funny when we're little, we just color. We don't think about all of this. And then when we get older, we make it complicated. But the images do come out so pretty. So there we go. And then often when I am working on an image, I see a place that I need to go back, and that's okay. You can go over your image as many times as you need. So I'm going to gently take off this paper. I have had issues before where I have torn my paper, and you know, had to persevere during my live and cover it up. Worked out fine. I just put my sentiment over the torn part. So I'm giving this to my student because she made me the prettiest, I don't even know how to explain it. It wasn't really crocheted. I mean, it was a little, like 2.5 inches high, and it's 3D angel all in white that you can hang from your, like from a tree or hang up someplace. Just stunning. It's just beautiful. And I teach adults. And so I wanted to give her a thank you card. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give her this card on Monday. And she's always so touched when she receives a card. I try to, anytime my students do something special for me, I try to make them a card. And some think, oh, how wonderful. And then others, right in front of you, toss it. But that's what happens. You know, you can't get upset. So I was using the E0000, E01, and E11 to do her feet, and I tried to make her feet, you know, back here underneath her trousers in the back, have some shading. So that's what I was doing. Okay, so now let's do her, I'm going to actually do her shirt first, so I don't make a mistake and color it with her jeans. So I'm doing this in an orange, YR04 chrome orange. I picked really happy colors for this image, for this card actually, because I am ready for spring. I actually am getting lucky going to Savannah. They have a big St. Patrick's Day celebration, and this year they are actually holding the festival a couple of days earlier because they're trying something new where they actually have a big celebration before St. Patrick's Day and just have the parade on St. Patrick's Day to try to cut down on some of the drinking. So I'm actually going to be there when they're having the big festival. So I'm so excited. All right, so what I did is I put a layer down of the YR04, and then I'm going back over it where I want some shading at. So I'm really just using one color on this, but I'm not coloring all the way across. So that's what I'm doing. Then we'll let that sit and dry as I do her jeans, and then I might go over it again. So for her jeans, I am using, let me get this out of the way, I am using B16, B12, and B14. And I'll put this all on my blog, all the colors that I'm using, so that you can, if you want, you can follow along too. And I always upload my video to YouTube, and I put a link on my blog. So if you ever want to rewatch it, you can. So, because a lot of times people catch the lives afterwards. Of course, you can always catch it on my Facebook page. But if you ever want to watch it, it's out there. It takes a little while to upload it because we have very slow internet here. But I do get that all done. So, let's see. The digital is from papernestdolls.com. I actually, if you do a Google search, the digi images are from the Etsy shop. So I will put a link on my page. I think I already have a link to it, but I'll put a link on my page so that you can get to the images, because Christine does have rubber stamps and she has digi images. And I think, I might be mistaken, but I think all the digi stamps, like they're all available, and some of the rubber stamps are available as digis. And this was a digi. I do have several of her rubber stamps. I'll show you. They're really great quality. Here's a couple that I have, or one right here. This is a rubber stamp that she has. This is the Sleepy Princess. I got this during the summer. I probably have about 10 of the rubber stamps, and you can see, fits in the palm of my hand. So they are substantial. They're quite nice. But this happens to be a digi image, and I printed her at 4 inches. So that was the B12. Now I'm going to my B14, and I'm just kind of pulling this out. Just pulling it out a little bit. And I'm trying to kind of feather it. Is that a word? Feather it? Well, it is a word, but trying not to do real hard lines, because hard lines are hard to get rid of. I mean, you can work the color and get rid of it, but it's better to try to avoid hard lines. Now I am going to turn her slightly. This across like this, and the jeans come together. They take work. Paint stripes. There we go. Oh, a lot of people walking upstairs. I apologize. Old house. I'm in the basement in the coal room. That's where I'm at. An old coal room that has been made into a my little craft nook. And I love it. I mean, I'm not complaining. I absolutely love it. But sometimes you can hear a little bit. There we go. So now I'm using my B16. If you have any questions, yes, Christine Young is really, truly, she is a good artist. She is just, her images are so cute. They're just so cute. Now I have kind of a heavy hand, so I am trying to be light when I go down along the sides. And I know it looks a little rough when you're first doing this, but it comes out nicely. So B12. So now I'm going to kind of pull out some of the color. Not all, I'm not going all the way to the edge. I'm not going all the way to the edge. So I'm just working the color out. I'm trying not to turn. It's hard for me to color without turning my paper, but I know how difficult that is when you're watching. So I'm trying not to turn. So I'm picking up the color with the tip of my marker and trying to pull it down, but I'm not going all the way to the edge. See? So I'm just picking up the color and blending it out is what I'm trying to do. Blending it out. And then I'm going to go over. Now I want to pull it down. See, there's some white spots, so pulling it down. So now I'm going to go across. I'm going to go across. And across. So I'm just doing a stroke, kind of across. I'm working my way up. There we go. And across. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. There's several of us that we do lives and we kind of all hang out together, and any of us could answer the questions for you, and if I see them, I'll answer. So what I did right here, and I'm not done, but I put a little bit darker right here and around, you know, your jeans usually have darker pieces where your seams are at. So that's what I'm trying to do, to make it look like parts of it are darker than other parts. And then I'm blending it out. So I'm just blending it out. But I want to leave, I don't want to blend the center because I want to have a highlight. So I'm going to work that part last. And this is my B12. So I'm coming down again, and they truly, if you put 2 to 3 layers on it, I just think it makes your images look richer. So here we go. And across. Okay, just a moment. Sweetheart, I'll be out in a few minutes, okay? Okay. Thank you. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to take my B14 and I'm going around where the pocket's at. Like this. And a little bit more up on the top and down the side. Just take your time when you are coloring. Don't be in a rush. Should be something that you do, you know, that you enjoy. There we go. Okay, I hope I didn't push too far out. Dawn says watching me makes her want to do a live. Well, she's taking a little bit of a break because she's on vacation, and you should enjoy your vacation, Dawn. You should relax and enjoy your vacation. R27 and R46 are what I'm doing for the heart. So I'm just coming in here. It is true, when I watch a live, oh my gosh, I love watching. And there's several people I follow. I follow Dawn from Dawn G Designs, Gail from Stamping with Gail Sue. Sometimes Sharon Noble does a live, and Amy Young. Oh my gosh, I love watching Amy Young and Jamie Clark, Rhea Ringwall. I love watching people. You know, you just gain something every time you watch somebody. So I'm taking my R46, and to the left, I'm putting it on heavier than I did over here on the right. And so see, it kind of gives it a nice little sheen when you do that. So that is what I'm doing. I'm trying to, you know, give it a nice little bit of depth. All right, so now I am going to do her watering can. And I don't know why, but these are my favorite colors. I say this all the time. My warm grays. I love them. I don't know. I just love them. So I'm actually not worrying about the dots at the moment. So if we get a little gray on it, it's okay. So I'm using my W0. And I'm just going around like this. And it's okay, because actually gray underneath the red actually makes for good shading. I often put gray underneath my colors when I want to shade, because it really does help give it more depth. If you follow along with me, an image I had done at Halloween had a gray undercoat underneath almost the entire image. It takes longer, but it does give it some really nice depth. So I am taking my W2. I think that's so funny. I just did our taxes. Sticking in my head. I'm hoping they got accepted. They had gotten rejected because of the adoption with the name changes. And so next year I'm going to have to go to an attorney. I'm not an attorney, to an accountant, so I can get everything sent in with my taxes. Because when you do it online, you can't really attach extra documents. So I'm trying to make it look a little bit more rounded by using my W2 on the, see, on the sides here, and just kind of pulling it out. Pulling it out. So I'm just working back and forth, kind of back and forth like that. There we go. Now I'm going to take my R49 and do my little circles here, my little dots. I'm trying to tie it all together with these colors. The only thing with red is it bleeds, so I'm trying to be careful with that. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with my RY04, and I'm just hitting the top of her shoulder by the top of her shirt, see? Putting another little layer so it gives a little bit of shading. Hi, Christine. How are you? I'm going to let my coloring area, I'm going to get my coloring area configured so I can stand to color over being in the recliner. And oh, you, Christine, I'm so glad you were able to join us today. Okay, now what I'm going to do with her hat, this is a little crazy. I'm going to go, I'm coloring it, but I'm not coloring the circles till the end, because like I just said, the red bleeds, and I want to do my dots up here in red. So I'm going to kind of leave those to the last so I can dab very quickly with my red. So I'm taking my W2. Oh, see, I'm dropping my markers. I'm all nervous now. I love these images. I truly do. I'm so glad to get to color them and be part of the team. I love watching what everybody colors. So I'm going back in with my W0. So I'm going back and forth between my W2 and my W0. And I'm just pulling this out. There we go. Now it'll come together once we get the red on. But like I said, I'm kind of waiting to do the red last because it bleeds. So I'm going to use my Y00, and I'm going to use Y06 and Y13, and maybe some Y15. We will see. Oh, I feel like there's some shadow there. I'll try to see if I can lighten it up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go in with my lighter color. I don't know if my bulbs are starting to burn out, because it does seem darker to me. So I am going to this week maybe buy some new bulbs and give that a try. Yeah, Christine, she bases her images off of her children, which is so cool. I wish I could draw so I could do something similar. I just think that is so sweet, because I think my baby would make a beautiful stamp. Wouldn't that be cool? So this is my Y06, and I'm just layering, and you want it to be darker underneath than you do on the top. So I'm going to take my Y15, because it's a shadow. You would have a shadow if you have on a hat, right? So just coming in here and pulling this out, and then a little bit around just kind of touching it in places that you think it would be a little darker. Maybe right in here. And then I'm going to go back in. I'm going to take my Y00. I'm just going to go back in. Kind of pull that out. Then we're going to look at it and decide what we need to do. Because you have a plan, right? But you still need to kind of go back and forth with your colors. So I'm going to take my Y15 because I feel like we need a little bit more underneath here. Pull it out just a little bit more, and going around like that. Yeah, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get to Savannah. It'll be interesting because the baby has flown several times. She's under 2, so she can sit on my lap. It's free, but she's much bigger now. So we'll see how she does. But I'm carrying the, I'm going to check it in, the car seat. Because I have found when you try to rent a car with a car seat, they tell you that it's available. But then when you get there, there's no car seat. And then, you know, you're in trouble. All right, so there is the yellow. And see, I've left a highlight right here. So, you know, it's going to be so much fun. Oh, yes. I think it's so wonderful that Dawn her parents are visiting. I think that is just wonderful. All right, so I am taking R27 and my R49, and now we're going to be putting in some of our red. So I'm going to take my darker color. Yeah, it's nice to get to visit your family and take a little bit of a break. Everybody needs a break once in a while. My mother's going to go with me, you know, and it's kind of hilarious when we all travel because has to sit in a wheelchair, and then I have the baby, and I'm trying to manage all the luggage, and I have it down to a routine, and we make it through. It works out just fine. We zip through, but I cannot wait. I love the smell of the ocean, the salt water. I love it. And I love the marsh and all the birds, and, you know, can't wait. All right, so I'm using a touch of the darker color, and then I go in with the lighter red. See? And then I go in to my flower with my Y15 in the center, and I'm going to go back over this again, but you know, it's a little saturated, so I don't want my red to bleed, so I'm going to let it dry just a little bit. So now I'm using my YG63 and my YG03, and I'm going to take this, just kind of go down the center, and then a little bit on the edge down here. Then I'm going to take my YG03 and I'm going to color. See, I'm pushing towards it. Now I don't want to blend out my shading, so I'm pushing towards it. So that is what I'm doing. Then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to put another layer of the darker color on. And I'm going around the bottom of my leaves. Oops, I missed this one. And then I take my lighter and I'm going to push towards it because I do not want to blend out my shading. So that's why you have to decide whether you need to push out or in. Now I'm taking the orange and I'm just going right in here where this, see, there's little flowers sticking up. And I'm going to take my red, and I'm going to go right in here, like so. And this is my R46. I'm going to go back in with my R27, and I'm going to push towards it, because I don't want to take the shading out. See? So there we go. There we go. And red is a very strong color, and it will bleed, so you got to be very careful. So I'm doing her hair band or barrette. So there we go. And there is one. We're going to do two. We're going to do two. And then we'll assemble our card when we get done. So here she is. Now I'm going to take my blue. Let me find it. My B14. And I'm just going to kind of pull out just a little bit. Just a little bit here. A little bit here. And a little bit down there. So just a little bit more. Because I want a little bit more definition. And then I'm going to take my lighter color. And your marker paper, if you're using marker paper, you can go back in and you can work your ink as much as you need. You should be able to go back in. Good marker paper lets you go back in and work on your image. So make sure that you are using decent paper. It really saves you ink if you do. Now I'm going to show you the back. See, good marker paper should go through. If it doesn't, then see your colors bleed out. So here is one image. We're going to put her off to the side, and we're going to do our second image. And here she is. So now this one is Avery with Fireflies. And we're going to assemble our card with both images. And it's going to be cute. Going to be very, very cute. Oh, hi Fatima. How are you? How are you? Okay. So I am just going to move this kind of across. So this is Avery with Firefly. And so I'm going to take my E00 and I'm going to come in. Now I'm going to do her face slightly, just slightly different because I don't want them to look exactly alike, right? So I'm just putting the lighter color on, going over her. I bought new nibs, and I'm going to put a new nib in this marker. I think I've used it so much that it's needs a new nib. So we'll see how that works out. So now I'm going to use my E01, and I'm going to use E00. So I'm going to take my E00, and I'm going to pull out a little bit more, and I'm trying to do her very lightly. Now remember, I like to build up the cheeks a little bit to give a little bit of dimension. So I'm just coming down very lightly, coming down and coming down here and underneath the skirt. And then I'm going to go my E01. So I'm just building up the layers. And I wanted her to look a little bit different color-wise. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to go underneath the skirt and down, see, underneath the skirt, along side of her leg and her toes, maybe right. There we go. Now, I'm going to take my lighter color, which is my E00, and I'm just going to pull this out. There we go. I just wanted her to look a little bit different skin tone wise. Not drastically, but just a little bit. And I'm just going across. And then I'm going to add in the blush. Now I'm leaving the center of her face white for a moment, because I like to do that last. And we're going to make her brunette. So I'm taking R20 and my R30. So I'm going to use R20 and R30. And I'm starting from the ear, just kind of going out. We're going to blend her face more, don't worry. So I'm going to take my R30 and just kind of going around. There we go. Now she looks a little harsh, I know. She's not ready to walk out of the house. Alright, so here we go, our E000. And I'm just going, see, across. There we go. Now let's soften up her cheeks. So that's what I want to do, soften up her cheeks. Can you hear the water running overhead? I tell them don't run the water while I'm down here, but nobody listens to me. Okay, so there we go. Now when we do her hair, this will all go together really well. But we got to get her hair done first. Okay, now I want the center of her face, like I said, lighter than the outside. So I'm going to put underneath her chin, kind of want a shadow. Do above her nose a little bit. Over here by her eyes. Over here underneath her hair a little bit more. Coming around. You just kind of got to take your time and go back over the skin a few times. The more layers, the better. Okay? Let's see. Fatima, I think, is going to do a live soon, aren't you, Fatima? I think she is. I love watching it. If anybody is doing any lives, you let us know and we will watch you, because we love to follow along. All right, so I am going to do her hair. I'm going to move her down because I feel like I got her kind of up a little bit too high. I'm going to move her down, and I will go over her skin a little bit more because I think she's a little bit blotchy. But let's do her hair. Let me just move the marker. So I'm going to use E77, E74, and my E70. E70. So that is what I'm looking for, my E70. I have set the E70 down. Oops, sorry. E70 down someplace. Here it is. Okay. There we go. I have my markers in a little tray right beside me. So I'm going to start with the lighter color, just like I did with her hair. I'm going to start with my lighter color. And Christina has already, see, she has all the hair strands, which is really wonderful. Sometimes the artists do not include a lot of definition in the hair, but Christine does. So follow where Christine already has drawn the hair, the divisions in the hair. So I'm just coming down with my lighter color. See? And I'm doing it lightly, trying to do it lightly. So coming right in here, and I'm going up. I'm flicking is what I'm doing. And I'm just like that. There we go. So that's the E70. Then I'm going to take my medium, my E74. And for me, it's easier to start lighter to darker. But for some people, they go darker to lighter, and it's okay. It's okay whichever way you do it. You have to find what works for you, and hair takes a lot of practice. I mean, I think hair is something year after year probably perfect it more and more. It's probably something that I don't know if anybody's ever perfect. So I'm just flicking up, and I'm following where Christine has already drawn, because Christine has done a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job. And see, back here by her ear is going to be darker, right? So again, I'm just trying to flick up and around, trying to go the direction that her hair would grow. So now I'm going to take my darkest color, which was my E77, and I'm not going out as I went further with the lighter color, and then the medium, and now the dark. So I'm not going to go out as far, and I'm just flicking. See? So I'm just kind of following the pattern, and I am flicking, and then up. And I got out a little bit. It's okay. We can fix it. I'll show you how to fix it. And around. Alright. So now, see, right in here, I kind of should have probably a little bit more detail right in there, right? Okay. And down a little bit of flicking. Now we're going to take our lighter color. Well, first we're going to go do our medium again, I think, because we want to make her a true brunette. So just a little bit like so. And like this. Okay. Hi Sandra, how are you? So now we're going to use a lighter, E70. And I mean to say hi to everybody. Hi Kathy. I get engrossed in my coloring and I don't pay attention to my comments as much as I should, and I do apologize. But if you have any questions, I do try to go back and read my comments and answer people back as much as I can. Sometimes Facebook won't let me go through all my comments. I don't know why. I can only do so many of them. It says to scroll for more, but it doesn't let me scroll. So if I don't answer you back, if you send me a message, I will answer you back. So I'm taking my lighter color and I'm just doing my strokes. And I am pushing and pulling is what I'm doing. Pushing and pulling. Pulling. Not polling, pulling. And see, we want some lighter, which we have. So now I'm going to take my E74 and I'm going to hold it down low and just kind of try to do some strands. That's what I'm trying to do. Some more strands of hair. And over in here. And a little bit just following along where she's already got the lines drawn. There we go. There we go. Like that. Alright. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to go back in with my lighter color. Just kind of a couple of places I want to try to touch up. Now let me show you something. You can take your white gel pen. If you get out, you can take your white gel pen and go beside your image, and you can touch up if you get out. See, like I got out right here? You can touch it up and it will just kind of blend in. Now I see a couple of places that I have missed, and it's okay to have some white showing in the hair. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take my red and I'm going to do her rubber band and her little barrette, not ribbit, her barrette. There we go, like that. And then I'm going to take my brown and go over right in here just a little bit, like that. Okay, so now let's do her dress. And I am going to use my YR00, my Y06, Y13, and my Y17. So I'm going to go over her dress first with the lighter color. And it's a little bright, but that's okay. We're going to try to give her some pleats, and then we're going to go over her skin just a little bit more. I think my marker really is not working well. I might just have to replace that one marker. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so I'm just taking my lighter color, the Y00, and then I'm going to take my Y06 and I'm just pulling it out. See, I'm doing little tiny flecks. Kind of pull it out like this. And pull it out a little bit more. And a little bit up here. A little bit more. And you're going to see, we're going to try to give her some pleats. So I'm going to take my Y00 again, and I'm just going to go across. And we're going to work these colors a couple of times. So I'm going across. Now, I'm going to take my Y15, this Y15, and what I'm going to do is, see how her skirt is kind of wavy? So I'm going to just kind of go up where I kind of think she has some folds. See, and then I'm going to go down like this and a little bit up and on the side and right here So then I'm going to take my Y06 and I'm going to go beside this line. I'm going to just go beside it and beside it right here. See? So I did the darker color in the middle, then I'm doing the lighter color on the outside of that line. See? Then I'm going to go back again with my Y15 and I'm going to go up. And I'm just doing it lightly, and they don't have to match. The lengths don't have to match is what I mean. Your lengths don't have to match. And go down here like that. A little bit, just a little bit like that. Now I'm going to take my Y06 again. See, I'm just going along the side. That's one, just going along the side. And then I'm going to take my Y00 and I'm just going to go very quickly. See, blend this in, pull that up. There we go. And so that kind of gives us the look of folds. Well, let me move those out of the way. And then I am going to take my R46 and I'm going to go right in here, just on the side, just gently. And then I'm going to take my R27 and kind of pull it out. There we go. And like I said, red is easy to bleed, so you want to be very careful with it. There we go. And we are going to do a little bit touch up on her skin. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my BG00, and you can really take any color you want that's light, see, to do the glass. So I'm just lightly going over it, just kind of lightly. And then I'm going to take my B12 and I'm just going to marry my markers together, and I'm going to just go over the sides. So I'm just marrying my markers together and I'm going over the side where I would have a little bit more depth. So that is what I'm doing. Now you don't want to be heavy-handed where you have your glass. See? So you want to keep it lighter on the inside. There you go. And so I just keep my marker like this. See how I'm holding it, and I just kind of work between the two. And I come down and up. There we go. And then make sure you put your correct lids on. And I'm going to take my gray. And then we're going to put this card together. Won't take us very long. Take my W2. And we're going to do these butterflies, but I'm doing them last. So I'm taking my gray. And I'm doing, making it rounded. Taking my W0. That was W2 that I used. And then I'm going to take my W2 again. See? And just kind of make it rounded. Take my W0, just kind of work it back and forth. There we go. Now, let's just touch up her skin just a little bit. So I'm going to take my E00 and let's kind of go down. Let's go down a little bit. Just want to touch up her skin just a little bit. I think she's a little blotchy. So just kind of putting another layer of color, and you can put as many layers as you feel is necessary. So I'm going to take my R20, just kind of gently, there we go. I just feel like she needs a little bit more, just a little bit more, and then take this and push towards, see? Just kind of felt like her face needs a little bit more. Not a lot, but a little bit. Alright, so now let's take our images and let's, I'm going to take my gray. Let me find what I've done with it. Oh, here it is. So W0, I'm just going to put this here on the bottom. kind of ground her. We don't have to ground her a lot because I cut it pretty close. But we want to ground her. See, there we go. And then we're going to take our B. And this isn't something I do a lot. Dawn does this a lot. I don't do it quite as much. I usually pull out the color, and I usually pull out and use my blender pen to make it go to white. I'm just kind of going around her because I want her to pop off the page a little bit, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going around her. I had wanted to cut these on my Scan and Cut, but neither one of my mats, and one of them is brand new, is being recognized by my Scan and Cut. So there's something, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes it's your lighting. Oh, now that did a big bleed. I don't know if you saw that or not. A big, I'm just gonna, had a big glob come out. That's not good. I don't know if you saw that or not. Big glob. So I took both lids off to try to even out the pressure a little bit. Okay, I'm just going around her. I'm just doing this very quickly, and then we're going to assemble the card. You guys have been great today. There we go. All right. So see, it makes her pop. This is where, see, too much ink came out. And what you can do is you could take your blender pen and try to make it go to white. So right up here. But you want to be careful because you don't want it to get into her hair. Now this is going to have to kind of dry, but that's okay. Now see, we got folds going. I think that's good. Now the paper I'm using is a Doodlebug spring things. And this is a 6x6 card. So we're going to assemble it right now, real quick. I have a card base. I don't know where I set it at, but I do have a card base. So let's go ahead and assemble. So this is a 6x6. So what I did is I cut a 6x6 paper. I think I'll pull you guys out just a little bit. And I made the mat. I made the mat 6x6 in the paper. Let's see if I can push it in a little bit. There we go. See if you can see a little bit better. So we'll put this on here and center it. There we go. And then I'm using art glitter glue. And the reason I use it is because, see, just like that, I could reposition it because it is not lining up. And I am standing up trying to get a better idea of where it's supposed to be. So this is going to be our center. And like I said, this is art glitter glue. It's my favorite glue. I just love it. But it's a little bit stopped up. Here, I'm going to use this one. This one needs refilling. So I just dot, 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 dot. I'm going to put this in the center of the paper. And we're going to put this on. I think it's such pretty paper. I love Doodlebug paper. I think it goes so well with Christina's images. I often use Doodlebug or Echo Park with her images. So I'm just eyeballing it, putting it in the center, like that. And then I'm going to take these two, and I've already cut a mat for them. See? So, I love assembling the card. I like it when it all comes together. Now this card, I'm not popping up as much as I normally do because I have some embellishments I'm putting on, and I didn't want to overpower them. So like that. See how the art glitter glue, it lets you reposition. It doesn't dry so quickly that you can't reposition. And put this one here. And so this is like 1/8 of an inch mat all the way around. I used to do bigger mats. I used to do like 1/4, but Dawn's the one that kind of got me doing the 1/8 of an inch. So see, we're going to do like this. And I typed up, "You are so sweet. Thank you so much." And this is a Brad. So we're going to put that right like this. And then I have 2 embellishments that Sharon sent me. So we're going to put one here, and one up there. And so this is going to be our card. Oh, thank you. Hi, Gail. Dawn bought the sweet sentiment paper. Thank you. Dawn, I bought the sweet sentiment paper. I always buy the sweet sentiment paper myself. I love sweet sentiment paper. It's so rich. So I am going to pop up this sentiment. And what I did is I typed it up on my printer. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. And then I matted this as well. And this is a brad, but I don't want it to fall apart. So I actually taped it as well. So I glued it and I taped it. So what I'm going to do is put this up here, but I'm going to kind of wait a minute. And I'm going to put these two on first. So I'm going to put her kind of slanted. So I'm going to put Avery with Fireflies right here, kind of slanted. Isn't that pretty? I love these images. I think Christina Young is so talented with paper nest dolls. She's so talented. I'll put this one right here, and then I'm going to give this to my student as a big thank you for the angel she made me. And so we're going to put this little sunflower, and then I've got this little pot, and I'll tell you what I did. I colored on top of this pot. I colored so that it would be red, and I colored the leaves too, so it would tie in better with the images. The coloring on the images. And I do have a 6x6 card that I already created to put this on, and for the life of me I don't know where I set it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So we'll pop this on. So I'll show you that it is. I had already made this. I scored it, and I had already done this before we got on the live. I don't feel like I have a lot of workspace, and I don't know. I didn't know if you really want to see how to score or not. I could do that sometime if you want me to. More than happy to. Okay, so I'm just going to center this on. There we go. And my cards are heavy. I've had people comment that when they receive my cards that they are heavy, because I do use a lot of cardstock on them. But I like my cards to be substantial so that, see, you can set it up if you wanted. So I do want them to be substantial. There you go. So this is Avery with water can, and Avery with, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do my butterflies. Let me do this real quick. Or I think they're fireflies because it's Avery with fireflies, not butterflies. So fireflies. Sorry, I meant to do them. That's what happens sometimes. There we go. I often go back over my images when I get done, when I look through my camera and I see, oh, it needs a little bit more in one place or another. So you see, I often go back over it, just like I'm doing right now. And I'm doing it so you can see that you can go over your images even after you've gotten done coloring as many times as you need. So if you need to add a little bit more shading, whatever it is, you can do it. So I think that her dress looks like it has the folds. I always do this. I always put the dark and then a medium beside it, dark, medium beside it 2 or 3 times, and then I go over it with one quick time with my light color. And that's how I get the effect of a fold. Now, you might do it differently, but that's how I do it. So there we go. And I'm going to give this to my student tomorrow in class. She's very gracious. She's from Lithuania, and she'll be very tickled. She always has tears in her eyes when I give her a card. So it makes it touching. She's an older student. She'll be leaving me soon, and I will be sad when she leaves. She's moving to San Diego. So there we go. And I thank you very much for joining me for the live. Oh, Fatima, I like your method. She will love it. Aw, and thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Sandra. You guys are always the best. And Gail, You guys are always wonderful. Misty, what is a good marker paper? The Sweet Sentiment paper is my favorite, and the Copic paper. I'll show you before you get off. This is the Sweet Sentiment paper, and it has kind of a yellow, a cream tinge. This is the Copic Express. So you see the difference? This one's a cream and this is a white. And they're both really good papers. This is what I recommend, that you use one or the other when you use your markers, because your ink is very expensive. So you want to use paper that will take your ink well, because otherwise you're wasting a lot of money on your ink. You truly are. So you have to think about that when you are coloring. All right, well, I really have enjoyed my live today, and I always love visiting you guys. And if you have any questions, and throughout the week if you have any questions, you can always message me. I'm always happy to respond. I love talking to you guys. All right, I will see you on Thursday night. Talk to you later.